Hello. Welcome back to the channel. This is a Mass Effect video. As I mentioned in my channel update, I've been playing through the trilogy trying to get all the achievements. I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a tier list of the characters. Just give my opinion on how useful I think they are. There were, obviously, because there's not a lot of squad mates, I did add about 10 other characters that have a bearing on the story, or that I thought, were a bit interesting. Obviously that probably means that I'm not going to be saying they're the worst characters, but I just wanted to add a few more characters just to pad it out a bit, because obviously, as I said, there's not that many squad mates to pick from. So we're gonna jump straight in and do a tier list. You might hear my dog scratching around in the background because he's just on one for some reason, so just try and ignore it. So here we go. So first off, we have Captain or Admiral or Chancellor, whatever you want to call him, Anderson. I like him as a character. I think he's really cool. I think straight away S tier. He's kind of your biggest ally. He gets you your Spectre status back, and he's a pretty. You have little chats with him, conversations, and he's a source of information. I think he's a really good character. I really enjoy, his story. Like that he was supposed to be the first human Spectre, but issues arose with Saren, which obviously that happens with yourself in the first game. I think he's a really good written character, and I really enjoy a lot about him. Next up, we have Arya. She kind of runs Omega. She's like the top dog, and she sits there in a little nightclub. She plays a big part in the third one as well. Cerberus kind of takes over at Omega, and you have to get it back for her, and you go through a whole mission, and it's quite a long mission, but it's really fun and engaging. I just like how ruthless she is. It's like information is power, and she's a pretty decent squad mate as well when you fight with her. So is she as good as Captain Anderson? I think she's good as Captain Anderson. Next up, we have Ashley Williams. Now, a lot of people say there's always that military character that are quite like cookie cutter and a bit bland, for lack of a better term. Ashley's kind of like that. I quite enjoy the character though. Obviously, in the first game you have to do the sacrifice, don't you? You have to pick Ashley or Kai. I was going to say Kaiden, then Caden. They're kind of. I think they built them to be very, very similar characters. So when you pick which one you're going to leave behind to die, that there's no clear favourite, because you've got this sense of they're quite similar. So Ashley's more marine, whereas Caden is more biotic. So they've got that slight difference, but yeah, Ashley, I think she's a solid B tier player. I wouldn't say she's terrible, and I wouldn't say she's great, but yeah, solid B. Next up, we've got Edie, which is the ship AI from the second game. She's in the third one as well, but in the third one she can become a squad mate, so you fight with her. Obviously she's, whatever you want to call her, an android or a robot, and her conscious is in the body. As long as the body stays relatively close to the ship, like, you know, in the same atmosphere, you can use her. She's one of my favourites. I'm constantly using her. Yeah, I think she's another solid S tier character. No, that's A. I'll go A. Yeah, she's good, but she's not top tier. Yeah, I think A is pretty good. I like her little back and forth with Joker. They even literally talk about becoming a couple in the third one. I guess because a Joker kind of spends a lot of time on his ship, doesn't he? It's kind of very important to him. Edie's part of that ship, and I'm guessing he feels a connection with her. Next up, we have, straight off the bat, he's S+, he's Garrus. Yeah, Garrus is just superb, isn't he? He's a fan favourite. I would say out of the whole series, he's probably up there with Liara, as, you know, they're fighting for the top position of favourite character. I mean, I guess you could throw Rex in there as well. Like, the original game it built such iconic characters, and I think because they were iconic and there was positive reception, they brought them back in each subsequent game. Like the second one and the third one, Garrus is a squad mate. He's a really good squad mate. Yeah, I just like his attitude. He joins because he's one of the ones that he realises before a lot of other people that Saren is a bit corrupt. Obviously the council don't believe him. Even the Turians, they not giving him the light of day, and then there's just so much good stuff you could say about him. He's just written really well, and I really love the character. He's definitely one of my favourites throughout the whole series. So yeah, next up we have Grunt. Now, he's the second Krogan that you have as squad mate after Rex. You find him on, I think it's on Tachanka, or is it? Basically, there's a Krogan called Akia. He's trying to make the perfect Krogan, because obviously the genophage and stuff like that, and he makes it, and he's like it's the last thing he has left out of his research, a survivor, and you take it on your ship. You can actually just leave him in the pod, to be fair. He's kind of a proper optional character, or you can wake him up and he just wants to be a Krogan. He just wants to kill things and smash things. He's not as intelligent as Rex is, and I don't think he understands, you know, Krogan politics and stuff like that. But yeah, he's a good average teammate. Is he better than Edie? Is he? I'd put him just above Ashley there in the B tier. I think after you get really invested with Rex, and then it's a bit disappointing when he doesn't become a squad mate in the second one. But yeah, Grunt's a decent squad mate. He's one of them ones who'll just run into combat and just whack things, which, you know, is pretty awesome. So moving on, we have Jack. She's pure biotic. She's a loose cannon. You can have her as a romance option in the second one, but she's one of the ones. She's tied with Miranda. Now, if you have to be Paragon, High Paragon for Miranda, or High Renegade for Jack, that's just because of the character and her attitude. She does mellow out in the third one. But yeah, biotic crazy. I'd definitely put her in A tier because she's very useful if you don't really invest much in biotics. You can just whack her in and she's got all manner of biotic attacks that are really helpful. Yeah, I rate her highly. I don't use her that much though, so I guess it's it's one of them. It's like, how can you rate her so highly and not use her? But I just think Mass Effect 2 has so many squad mates. Like, I don't actually know how many squad mates. I want to find that out now. I want to find out how many squad mates you actually have. Yeah, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Just a sec. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 squad mates. 12. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you balance them out? Like, literally, how do you balance them out? It's just mental. So yeah, you kind of got to switch between them, and unfortunately, you can't use them all at one time. So yeah, I would definitely put Jack in the A tier. And then we have Jacob. Now, I don't like Jacob. I rarely use Jacob. His characters, he's even more boring than Ashley and Kaiden. Would I say he's the worst? He's not the worst. I'll give him a C tier. He is useful. He is handy. He's a military. He's another military man. Small biotics, but nah, I don't use him. That's what I really got to say. And then you've got James Vega from Mass Effect 3. I would put him he's better than Jacob. You know what? I'm gonna give him a C tier. He's you look at him and you just think, you know, big meathead, muscle head, you know, that kind of thing, because of the way the character is. He's Marine through and through, but you know, you can actually have a laugh and a joke, and you know, I actually quite enjoy his character. He's not as bad as He's not as bad as you would think. But yeah, like he's another one. I don't use him that much, but tiny bit of a soft spot for him. He's better than the other like cookie cutter Marine characters. And then we move on to Prothean, and I'm going to put him with Jacob. I don't really like him. Like, he's just there. He's a decent squad mate, but nothing to write home about. Yeah, he's just average. I don't like the character and the way it's written. He's very negative and like holier than thou a lot of the times, and I just don't like those type of preachy characters. Next, we've got Joker. I put Joker in A. I mean, he's put in as a squad mate, but you only really run around as him once at the end of Mass Effect, towards the end of Mass Effect 2. I like his banter, his joking around. He's a fun character, but there's obviously combat, you can't really talk about him. Next up, we've got Kaiden, which I don't know why I keep calling Kaiden. Is it Kaiden or Kaiden? I've played like 3 games. You would have thought you would have realised how they say his name. Yeah, another B tier. He's lumped in with Ashley, Vega. He's kind of lumped in with Jacob, but he's much more likeable than Jacob. I'm actually playing as a female shepherd, so he was my romance option in the first one. And yeah, things just didn't work out in the third one, so we're just friends. Next up is Kasumi. She has got this really good power that she goes invisible and then just shows up next to the enemy and then stabs them, and it's actually quite a decent. So I would put her in a bit above. You can't read that. There we go. Yeah, just a bit above Jack. Not as great as Edie. Yeah, she was one of the DLC characters for the second one with another character who we'll get to later. Yeah, she's optional. You don't have to get her, but she's pretty decent. And then we have Legion. He's a Geth that you come across. He's one of those. I think he's very self-aware. Yeah, maybe just there. He's decent. He's really good for fighting the Geth because he can turn the Geth against each other and he can hack them and stuff like that. That's kind of his thing. So he's a pretty decent character. And then next character, without even thinking, straight away another S tier character. I love Liara. She is in the first one. She's in the second one, but only in DLC, and then she's very much a part of 3. I love the Asari. I love the characters. I love the backstory. I love the design. You know, the blue tint of their skin as well. I use Liara a lot. She's like a really good biotic, and she's the one that's like studying up on the Protheans, and he's really wanting to make things, like learn about them and stuff. And when you get the Prothean on your team, she's very much straight in there. Yeah, I love the Lair of the Shadow Broker DLC in the second one where she becomes the Shadow Broker. I just love her character. She's just, as I said, I just love the Asari, and she's really useful with her biotics. She's definitely an S+ tier squad mate. Then next we've got Miranda. Now, I think high A character. I do like Miranda, to be fair. Another really good biotic. Yeah, there's not many non-biotic characters really, is there? But yeah, she can be interchangeable with Liara because of her biotic powers. She's one of like the high-ranking people in Cerberus. The elusive man loves her. Yeah, I like her character. She's got a side story about her sister. Like her dad implanted her with all these biotics and kind of forced her into. He wanted her to be his legacy, and then you find out that because she kind of she left and she wanted to do her own thing. She got away from him. He created a sister for her, like kind of like a clone. And she does everything she can to save her sister. She's very adamant about that. She shows up in the third one as well. Yeah, I really do like the character. I think it's a really fun character. Next we have Morden, who I love Morden. He's great. He's not on Garrison Liara level, but he's a doctor. You get him early in the second one because he's the one that does all your upgrades to all your guns and your armour and the ship and everything. He's a very central, important character. And in the third one, when he sacrifices himself for the Krogan cure. Sorry about that yawn. Yeah. And he talks a mile a minute, and like sometimes you sat there listening to the dialogue, and it's just what are you going on about? But it's one of the saddest moments in the franchise when he dies. But yeah, I think he's a very, very important character, and I absolutely love him. But he's just not quite S+ tier. Right, let's power on because we've still got a fair few characters to get through. Samara, another Asari. I'll put her in low S tier. You know me, as I said before, I love the Asari. She's a Justicar, and she lives by very strict code rules. She's kind of like an assassin. She just floats around doing her own thing. She's got a couple of daughters in the second one. Morinth, she's interchangeable with her daughter Morinth. Actually, that is Morinth, isn't it? I've got this wrong. That's Morinth. Samara. I haven't used Morinth, so I'm just going to put her down here in J. Sorry, I got that. It's because obviously they're mother and daughter, aren't they? So they look very much similar. But there's a point where you're going after Morinth because it's part of Samara's loyalty mission. You can help her trap Samara and take over from Samara. Well, that's what I read anyway. I've never actually done it myself because I like Samara, so I keep her on. She kind of takes over and nobody knows about it, but yeah, I love Samara, another biotic, very powerful character. And yeah, you meet her in the Citadel. She's kind of floating around doing her own thing. They're very much wary of her and quite a bit, I'd say, scared of her because of how powerful she is. But yeah, I really enjoy the character. As I said, I don't really know Morinth that well. You actually do. You go and lure her in and flirt with Morinth to help Samara capture her because Morinth has kind of gone rogue. So yeah, you can keep her alive and swap her out with Samara, or you can kill her. I chose to kill her and keep Samara. So Morinth I've never really dealt with, but if I do another playthrough, next time, I can change that up. Next up, we've got Nyreen, who is, I think she's the leader of the Eclipse. She helps Arya to get her Omega back, and she kind of becomes her head of security, essentially. You don't really play with her that much, and she kind of jumps in and disappears. She's alright, but I'd put her behind Caden. whatever way you want to say it. I'm probably going to keep saying it the wrong way, but yeah, don't really deal with her much to have an opinion on her, for me anyway. Next up, we have a very tragic character. A character that you don't really get to know very well. He's like, I want some action, and he's part of your first squad with Caden when you drop on the planet before you rescue Ashley. Unfortunately, he's killed instantly, and that is Corporal Jenkins. Yeah, don't really get to know him well enough, can't really say much else about him. Next up, we've got another iconic character, which I think is S tier, which is Tali. She is a squad mate throughout the 3 games. She joins you in the first one because you save her and she wants to bring down Saren. Then she joins you in the second one because she wants to help the fleet, like the Quarians. She's another really good character. She's more tech-based than a biotic, but I love it. I love the backstory. I love the Quarians. That they're the ones that created the Geth, and then the Geth rebelled, and their homeworld is destroyed, and they're floating around in this flotilla of big massive ships. Like, they've got loads of massive ships, and they just live flying around space. Yeah, but she's a really good squad mate to have. I mean, I don't like her as much as Liara and Garrus, but she's definitely up there. You know what? Actually, I think she's under Morden. Like a lot of people do, like the Quarians, and I like them as well, but I just don't think she's S+ tier. S tier, definitely. And I kind of like Morden. I use Morden a lot. He's quite weak offensively, but yeah, I really do enjoy Tali. She's got a good story. She's been on a pilgrimage for ages. Yeah, Tali's definitely S tier, not quite as good as the others. So yeah, next up we have everyone's favourite assassin, Thane. He's another one that you recruit in Mass Effect 2. His loyalty mission is his son's becoming an assassin, and he wants to stop him. And he wants to mend things with his son because he's dying. He's an alright character. I think he would be another one I would put maybe around here. Nothing unique about him. Obviously, he's good with a sniper rifle, but yeah, nothing unique enough to really be anything other than a B. He doesn't really have the personality of the other one, any of the other characters, or he's just middle. He's very middle of the road. Obviously, like Grunt and Ashley and Legion, they've kind of got their own little story, and I don't really buy into things. I'm not really a massive fan of his. Yeah, so I would, yeah, middle of the road B tier. Next up is a squad mate that I can't actually remember his name. I'm struggling. I even looked up the plot of Mass Effect 3, and his name doesn't get mentioned in it, and I can't be bothered to go around digging about, so he is basically the book. He's in Mass Effect 2. You give him some Medigel and help him after you get Jacob, and then it turns around that he is a traitor and Miranda kills him. Yeah, I think he's going to be in J tier because he's just completely useless. At least with Jenkins, you got a tiny bit of story, but this bloke, he's just getting nothing. Anyway, moving on, we have S plus tier. We have Rex. Awesome character. He's Krogan. You meet him on the Citadel. You recruit him. He's really, his sole purpose is getting a cure for the genophage. He always stays loyal to you and is friendly. There is a point in the story where you can actually kill him and he's dead for the rest of the series, but if you've got enough higher Paragon influence, you can talk him down. And yeah, he's such a great character. He's got a great attitude. You know, he's like Grunt but times 10. He's just like, he loves going around killing things. He, in the second one, he's only a backstory character, but in the third one, you do actually get to go into battle with him, and I absolutely love it. Sorry, my dog's making weird noises. That's if you can hear that. But yeah, I love. He becomes basically the de facto leader of the Krogan, and he really pushes to get a cure for this genophage, and he ends up getting what he wants. He's one of those characters, he gets what he wants. Yeah, his story is. It's not by accident that the top 3 characters in my S plus tier are all Mass Effect 1 characters, because Mass Effect 1 is written really well and he's loyal with you throughout the whole thing. And I love the Krogan, and Rex is just awesome. Next up is another DLC character for the second one, Zaid. He's along with Kasumi. I don't use him. I'll put him down here and see. I think it's the Blue Suns. He was like the co-founder of the Blue Suns. Oh, as I said, I don't use him. I'm not really a fan of his character. He's just a mercenary for hire, really. I say a lot, don't I? Yeah, he's not. I think his character development's worse than them two. Like, Jacob is boring, but Zaid, it's just like tiny bit of character and then nothing. So, yeah. I feel bad putting Jenkins in D, but obviously you can use Zaid more. And then we go on. Those are all the squad mates for the Mass Effect trilogy, and then I've added a few side characters that, you know, like integral to the plot, or I find they're not necessarily going to be, oh, I love these characters all at the top. They're just ones that I think are important to the plot. And further the story, whether they be like people that help you out, or whether they be, you know, the antagonists. First up we have Dr. Shakwa. She's the medic. She was on the original Normandy, and then in the second one you recruit her, and then she comes back for the third one because she's Alliance. No, do you recruit her again for the third one? I think you recruit her again for the third one. You know, I can't quite remember whether I did or not, whether she was just already there. But yeah, I like her as a character. She's witty and sarcastic. And you can sit with her and have a brandy. I'm not putting her in C. I'd say B tier. Probably just above them guys, because I actually like her. You don't really interact with her all that much, but I think she's a really important character, and she's one that keeps coming back, so they must have liked her. So, moving on. Next up, we have Udina. He is the ambassador, for Earth. Not Earth, but the humans. He's a bit of a dick. He's not the most likable character, but he's not as bad as Cerberus, wanting humanity to be an important part of the universe, but he's just too forceful and pushy. When you get a chance to put someone on the council, you can pick him or Anderson. Anderson's the best choice. Udina kind of turns on you as a traitor. I think he's a good protagonist. Not a protagonist, antagonist though. I'd put him up in A tier because obviously I can't judge the rest of these on combat because they're not combat characters. They're allies or they're like enemies and stuff like that. And Udina he's meant to be unlikable, and you do not like him, and I think that's why he's written really well. Next up, we have Eve. Now, she's only a tiny bit of Mass Effect 2, but she's important because there was a Solarian doctor that was performing experiments on the Krogans and the women to try and cure the genophage. He was Morden's understudy. Morden, you can let the bloke live and tell him to bugger off, or you can kill him. You can delete his research, or you can keep his research. If you keep a research, what happens was the Solarians went in after they found about his experiment and took the Krogan women that he was experimenting on because the cure was working on them. All of them but her survive. I mean, all of them except her die. She's the only survivor, so her DNA is really important for the cure for the genophage. So that's why I felt like adding her, because I feel like she is an important character. Oh, didn't mean to do that. I mean, obviously, I put her high C. I can't really. She's not in it enough to really judge, but she's really smart and witty, and you have good exchange with her. Next up, we have the Elusive Man. In the second one, he's your ally. He will give you anything that you need to defeat the Collectors. He gets hold of your body after you die at the beginning, and he brings you back to life, basically. He's the leader of Cerberus. He does some pretty dodgy, shady stuff, but it's all in the name of humanity. He's a really good character, and he's well written and well voiced. I'll give him high B. But no, I'm going to put him in front of Udina. I think he's an A. In the third one, he becomes basically a villain, and he's hell bent on defeating the threat once and for all, but making sure that it's the humans that benefit. He puts humans above everyone else, and he experiments on his own people as well. He walks the line. He's not a nice character, but in the second one, it's kind of like, I'll work with you. You brought me back to life. You give me my ship. You basically helping me with my mission, but I never trust you. Next up, we have Sovereign. He's not the worst, but I'll just put him there for now. He is a Reaper. He's the main antagonist of the first one. He's made a deal with Saren to, if he helps Sovereign, wipe out all the species and stuff like that. If he helps Sovereign, that, he'll get to live type thing. He's the man at the top, but in the shadows, and then he kind of makes his presence known at the end. You end up defeating him. He's integral to the plot, a very important piece of the plot. But I'll probably put him. Yeah, around about there. It's an important part of the story of the first one, so I felt like I really should include it. But you don't witness enough for it to be like, do you have a true opinion of it? Because obviously Saren he's the main antagonist, and he's the one that you deal with the most. Talking of which, Saren, S tier, I think he's a great villain. You've got to put him high S tier, haven't you? He's a Spectre. He's the one that he doesn't really like humanity. He thinks they're getting a bit big for their own ego. He's the type of person, as long as the mission gets done, that's all that matters. Doesn't care whether it's a bit shady or illegal. He's the one that, as well, that he blames a mission that him and Captain Anderson went on for going wrong, and that's why Captain Anderson doesn't make Spectre. And then he's like the main antagonist. He's the one that you're fighting with throughout the whole of the first game. He's got an annoying boss fight because it's one of them Geth snipers that you don't actually come across in any of the other games, but they just they bounce across the walls, and you've got follow him and stuff. It's a nightmare, but he's really well written, and he's truly evil, but then towards the end you kind of convince him that he knows what he's doing is wrong, but he's already done it now. So he's probably the best villain in the whole series. Next up, another person I thought to add is Admiral Hackett. Now, Admiral Hackett, he's the leader of the Alliance military. He's the one you go to. You talk in the third one. He's very hands-on, and you talk to him a lot. Again, just thought a character that I should put on this list, because he's another one. He's in the shadows, but he's there and thereabouts. You know what I mean? And I think he's an important character for the series. He's not amazing. I think he's better than Zaid and Prothean, better than Sovereign. I'll probably put him around about there. Now we are towards the end. I've got 4 left. First up is Diane Allers. She is a media journalist. She says she's got a deal with the Alliance. She's trying to push that propaganda, get good press for the Alliance throughout the galaxy. And she approaches you, she's like, I want to be on your ship, you're Commander Shepard, you're a hero, you're a legend, and you bring her on the ship. You can have a fling with her as well. But yeah, I think I've had like one interview with her, and so far, I like her character. She's very straight to the point. She's not like the other media journalists where they're just arseholes for the sake of it. She wants the truth, but she wants good things for the Alliance. She's trying to drum up, a hope. So, yeah. Better than Irene. Yeah, around about there I'd give her. She's not... Obviously, you can't base her on combat. I've had limited interactions with her, but I do like her as a character. Next up is Yeoman Kelly Chambers. Now, she's in the second one. She is kind of like... She's kind of like your assistant. She tells you if any of the squad mates want to chat to you, or anyone on the ship wants to chat to you. She tells you if you got messages. She is also... She's not a true romance option. She's another one that's a fling. I do like her as a character. She's willing to learn. She's eager, but she's naive. She's another one like you can just be nice to her and kind of flirt with her a bit, and then you just stumble into a fling where she comes up into your cabin on the pretense of, I think, game, or should we play some games, and ends up doing a striptease for you. But then that's kind of it. She's just a little side character, but she's someone that you interact with a lot throughout the game. Probably give a low A. You know what? I like her more than Joker, to be fair. I think we'll push her up there. Middle of the road A. Down to the last two. Now, this one is Samantha Trainer. In the third one, they've kind of put the Normandy on lockdown. She's kind of leading the charge, working with the AI to get the ship up and running. And then when you get the ship back after the Reaper's attack, she has to stay on board. She kind of does the same job that Kelly Chambers does, but she's more hands-on with the ship. She can program the ship and stuff. She's there telling you, Commander, you've got messages. Commander, this person wants to talk to you. She's another one. She's not a fling. She's a romance option. Another point, Kelly Chambers can become a full romance option in the third one. You do it if she survives the end of the second game. You kind of come across her, but then I spoke to her once and then she disappeared, so I don't know where she went. But it says she's died. But back to Trainer. I stumbled into her romance option, to be fair. I didn't realise she was going to be an actual romance option. We've just been friends with her, a little bit of flirting. Like, the thing is, with all the main characters, I flirt with everyone, and then just the first person that kind of comes to you is like, yep, that's my romance option. And I just stumbled into a full romance with her. I didn't realise she was a full romance. I haven't played the game since it came out. I think I played through it once, and I haven't played Mass Effect 3 since. So yeah, she came up to my cabin and then she was like, this is a really nice cabin. I like your shower. And you could, and one of them just like, we'll have a shower then. So I told her, and then you end up joining her in the shower, and it's a really awkward scene. But then all of a sudden, she's your romance option. So I'm locked in with her. But yeah, I do like her. I think she's up here. But I think she's better than... I like her more than Tarly. I think we're going to move Tarly down to there. Yeah, so... top tier character. And now we're on to the final character. The the climax of the video. I have been rambling on for 50 minutes. And you might wonder, there is a character that is suspiciously absent. And it wasn't actually on the tier list because it was just squad mates. And I feel like, how can you have a tier list when you don't have this character? And that is Shepherd themselves. Obviously you can have male Shepherd or female Shepherd, but S tier plus. It's your character. You name them, you create them, you give them backstory, you choose their powers, you change their weapons out, you do their romance options, you do their Paragon and Renegade options, you buy stuff for them, you upgrade their character. Without that character, the series doesn't move forward. Well, the original trilogy, because it is the main character, so gotta be S plus tier. I love the character that I've built, and yeah, I think the character of Shepherd is written really well. I chose mine kind of like it was a sole survivor. Like, she was on a planet, it got attacked, everyone got wiped out pretty much. I think you meet maybe one or two characters that didn't die, except you, and you've kind of forged this alliance military career. So yeah, S plus tier, because without Shepherd we don't have a game. So yeah, that is the final tier list. I'm blanking, I'm trying to think of the word. We'll move on. Yeah, so you got Shepherd, Garrus, Liara and Rex in S+. In S we've got Morden, Saren, Samantha Trainer, Captain Anderson, Arya, Samara and Tali. In A tier we've got Miranda, Edie, Kasumi, Jack, Kelly Chambers, Joker, Elusive Man and Udina. B tier we've got Grunt, Ashley, Dr. Chakwa, Legion, Thane, James, I think it's James Vega, Caden, Diane Allers and Nyreen. In C we have Eve, Jacob, Admiral Hackett, Sovereign, Prothean and Zaid. In D we have, rest in peace, Jenkins. And then at the bottom in J we have the bloke whose name I can't remember, but he's a traitor, so, and you don't really fight with him much, and Morinth, an option that I chose to kill and keep Samara. So yeah, that is my tier list. I would want to do more Mass Effect videos. As I said, I'm going to do a Mass Effect 2 tips, and then I might do a Mass Effect 3 tips. I came up with the idea way after I played Mass Effect 1 and got all the achievements on that, so I don't want to do a tips video because it's not fresh in my memory. I've even got a list here of all my Mass Effect 2 tips that I'm going to be showing off. I'll do a Mass Effect 2, and then I might do, because I don't want to fully spoil the game. I'm going to do a video on the final mission of Mass Effect 2, because it's a big one and there's a lot of important decisions that are peppered throughout it that you need to make sure that you make the right ones. So yeah, that will be another video, so more Mass Effect to come. Oof, 55 minutes of ranting. I hope you have enjoyed this. If you have, then please like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell. Tell me any other ideas you want me to do about the Mass Effect series and I'll think about doing them. But yeah, I shall see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day, have a good afternoon, have a good evening, or have a good night. And I shall catch you in the next video. See you later. Bye bye.